Hi Wild Hearthstone YouTube, Keith here again. The United and Stormwind mini set is finally out, and as expected there were quite a few noteworthy cards that had their place in the world of Wild deck building. As is tradition, we did viewer decks on stream on day one of the new mini set, so I get to see a wide range of interesting and dubious ideas brought forth by the Twitch chat. By the way, if you want to see me play your Wild deck live on stream, you should check out the Twitch channel on twitch.tv/Keith_numbers. Link is always in the description. Anyway, I want to go over some of the coolest decks I've seen since the mini set. Some of the off-the-wall decks that turned out to be a lot of fun. None of these decks are anything close to top-tier archetypes yet, but they can do some powerful things, and they have room for development. You will notice that none of these decks are the obvious top-tier stuff. If you came here for the sickest, most overpowered, brain-dead Pirate Warrior deck list optimized for Deadmines, you came to the wrong place. However, if you like cool decks, and you want to have fun, but you don't also want to be a sitting duck on ladder, well, keep watching. Now I'm going to give you a bit of a warning. If you copy these lists as is, and you try to play them, it's going to be a little rough around the edges. I definitely recommend adjusting these lists on your own before you try to play them. I'm not going to give you optimized deck codes because, well, I don't have them, but I will go over suggestions for what to change in each section. Before we go too deep, a bit of a shill. If you like this content and you want to see more of it on YouTube, be sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, and share. Now let's get into it. The first deck is a bit of a throwback, but it got a really cool update from Deadmines that's definitely worth exploring. The deck is Libram Paladin. The new card to point out in the deck is Sunwing Squawker. It's 4 mana, 3/4 that casts the last spell on itself that you cast on another friendly minion. As long as you've cast a buff at some point in the game, Squawker is always going to have an upside, usually doing something like casting Libram of Wisdom or Hand of Doll on itself to give you a bigger minion and give you an extra card or extra Libram for later. But the high roll with this card is using it to cast Libram of Hope for 4 mana. So here's how that works. If your last targeted spell was Libram of Hope targeting a minion, your Squawker turns into a 4 mana 8/8 Taunt Divine Shield that comes with its own little parrot sidekick. It's kind of adorable. The rest of the deck is traditional Libram Paladin with tricks you've probably seen before. You have Oldor minions to discount your Librams. Libram of Hope comes down to 5 or 6 mana. Use it to stabilize, heal, build a big body. You have your board clears with Lord Baroff plus Broomstick, or Libram of Justice plus Blade Master Samuro. You know, you can mix and match these. This build has some rough card choices I'd probably change though, like Sunkeeper Tarim or Venomous Scorpion, Devout Pupil, stuff like that. I'd probably try to include some early game stability tools, like things like Galaka Crawler, or Cold Neophyte, or Lothep. But as is, it's already a pretty solid deck. Next up, we have another classic that people love to come back to time and time again, and it's Shudderwock Shaman. This is a list that I recognized from seeing Martian Boo play it on his stream, where he was going out of his way to explore new cards. By the way, check out Martian Boo's Twitch channel too if you haven't already. He wanted to check out new cards like Brilliant Macaw and Cookie the Cook to see how they look, and after playing the deck myself, I can say that the cards are, well, they're not embarrassing. Now, the first word about Cookie. This deck plays the standard Ice Fishing into Toxfen and Firemancer Flurgle combo, and Cookie the Cook interferes with the consistency of that package. If you need to clear a big board and you pull Cookie with Ice Fishing instead of Flurgle, you're gonna have a bad time. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's talk about the new shining star of the deck, Brilliant Macaw. This bird's actually as awesome as I envisioned him to be. You need to eat a pirate, but you only have 1 crab. You need to jam a combo, but you only have 1 rat. You need to draw cards, build a board, clear a board, set up a bounce chain, or Lothep somebody to deck. Ka, bitch! The rest of the deck is traditional Shudderwock Min-Rage combo deck. The combo is Serenite Chain Gang and Barista Lynching to set up infinite Shudderwock chains, and the rest of the deck is to hold the board and survive until then. This list is pretty tight. Martian's a pretty good deck builder, but a couple of things stand out to me to change. Cookie the Cook jams Ice Fishing is an obvious cut, we've already mentioned that. The other one's Cornelius Rome. Can draw a ton of cards, but the way the deck's built, you'll often already have tons of value, and Cornelius can be a little awkward. So what do you add? Maybe a little bit of healing, some card draw, I don't know. Try it and see what feels right to you. Moving on, the next deck up is a cool one, something we haven't seen in WoW in a long time. Big Spell Mage. This one's definitely more of a rough draft, but it has some pretty neat ideas. The Big Spell package of Dragon's Fury, Power of Creation, and Puzzle Box of Yogg-Saron are powerful. And with Deep Water Evoker, you can consistently draw these cards as you need them and stabilize your health total with some extra armor too. The trick is making sure you can cast these big spells early though. With Dragon's Fury, casting is not an issue, it only costs 5. It can clear things like giants, big pirate swarms, basically whatever you need. With other early game interaction like Galaka Crawler into Deep Water Evoker into Dragon's Fury, you can buy the kind of time you need to get to the real power spikes of the deck. Play Dragon Caster or Clumsy Courier to cheat out Puzzle Box, and then it's like Christmas time. But wait, Keith. what if one box is not enough? Play another one with Gray Sage Parrot. But Keith, what if I don't have a parrot? And play a turtle. What do I have to spell everything out for you? With all the variety of spells in Wild, Yogg-Box is a bit of a wild casino, but the high rolls are usually worth the low rolls. Anyway, how would I change this deck? One thing that stands out is the early game. It already has some good cards like Galaka Crawler, Wand Thief, and Wand Maker that are solid, and you want to max out the number of those cards that you play in the deck. Venomous Scorpit kind of looks suspicious, but it's actually probably worth it. You definitely want to cut Cabal Courier and Pandaren Importer because those cards are trash. The Dragon package is a little rough, but I'm not really sure how to fix that. The deck only has 2 dragons as is. I'm not really sure if there are any cheap dragons that are actually worth playing. The expensive ones are clunky draws. You can definitely add Varden Dawn Grasp though, an early game defense like Explosive Sheep. Maybe add some tradables? Who knows? You can probably hack away at this deck to find a respectable build, and even if it's not competitive, it's sure to be a lot of fun. The next deck up is another rough draft, but it might actually have some sick potential as a playable Demon Hunter archetype, if it gets more development and support. That's right. We're looking at Proving Grounds Demon Hunter. They actually gave Demon Hunter its own version of Shadow Essence, but this one pulls 2 minions from the deck, not just 1. Oh, okay, the minions attack each other. That's a shame. Well, that's actually not a problem if you stack the deck with big Deathrattle minions. The Deathrattle package in this deck actually works well with Proving Grounds. Stuff like Silver Vanguard pull fat 8 drops, Yasharj, which never loses the fight to anything else you put in your deck. Pit Commander usually also survives most of the time, and it can pull out itself or Morog Forge Fiends. Scrapyard Colossus is a good hit too. Blatant Decoy is a kind of a cool trick to pull minions from your hand. We even have Barnes. God rest his soul. The rest of the deck obviously needs some work though. The final showdown in this list is Bait. Has no business in here, you want to cut that immediately. Soul Cleave is underwhelming. I like Sigil Flame, probably use more of that. We probably want Fellscream Blast. We want to look for other defensive options as well. Maybe like Eldrazi Warblades or something. Who knows? Anyway, the deck's not quite there yet, but if they keep adding big minion support like this, it might be a real deck eventually. Now the last deck is a sick meme that I'm sure you've already seen. Literally every streamer I've watched has played this deck in some form or another, and I'd be remiss if I didn't include it. Here we go. Big Edwin Rogue. It's the silliest new deck in Wild that could actually kill you. So the idea is you go all in on the new card Edwin Defias Kingpin, play it on 4, chain together cards over and over again that are cheap, until you have a big Edwin with stealth, and then one-shot the opponent. I've seen a few of these builds floating around. I'm showing off the one that I saw a concerned mom play though. This one is built to pop off early and as consistently as possible, without stumbling from rough draws during the Edwin turn. It has some backup options too. The Captain's Parrot to draw your Edwin, and you also have OG Edwin Van Cleave to give you another threat if you don't draw the Defias Kingpin version, or if one Edwin's just not enough. Mailbox Dancer is a pretty neat trick too. It's an early game play that gives you an extra coin for more mana, more combo on your big turns. You can shadow step it to go even further. Now I'm going to be honest with you, this deck really isn't that close to viable, and it probably never will be, no matter how big you can make this Edwin, because all the best decks in Wild can usually find a way to neutralize or ignore a big threat. However, this deck works just often enough to scam some wins here and there, and it can be a lot of fun to play and tinker with. I don't have any cuts or suggestions for this one. Your guess is as good as mine, but yeah, go check it out. Anyway, that's it for the cool Deadmines Day 1 decks. Do you have any cool decks that I missed that are worth checking out? Let me know in the comments. Or stop by the Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Keith_numbers. Make me play the deck yourself. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Thanks for watching.